Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. I'm really sorry for getting on a few minutes late, but we have like a windstorm going on over here, and the internet was going on and off. It's freezing. It is freezing in St. Augustine, Florida. Okay. It feels like ice. You go outside, and the wind is going like 100 miles an hour and you feel like your ear is going to burn off your head. That's how cold it is. And so, like I said, the internet was going on and off, and I was like, let me just wait a little while. Hopefully it passes. Hopefully, we'll make it through the entire stream without it going out. Fingers crossed. So, for those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Laura. I'm going to do a message for you, and know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates. Also know that I like to dive deep within the reading. So readings have a therapy style to them, because it's not just about what your person did, what they're going to do. It's why they do what they do, right? And why you attract who you attract, and what you can do to change the energy. Because at the end of the day, no one wants to be stuck to a person that doesn't give them any energy, or makes them feel unworthy because they don't give them any energy, or makes them feel not good enough, whatever energy. We don't want to stay connected to someone like that, where we actually love a person that makes us feel that way. It doesn't make sense, right? So we have to understand why everything's happening. And then we can see how we contribute to the imbalances. And then we can see how we can shape shift the energy. If there's many different realities that play out at one time, you can actually see how to create the reality that you want if you're in alignment. So hopefully you'll be able to dive deep within the readings and be able to see for yourself, because it's about learning how to trust yourself. Sorry, my allergies just from going outside. Oh my God. You'd think I would be used to it coming from New York, but no. Not when it's that cold. Asthma. That's what it feels like. Ugh. All right. So I've been looking just about you in the beginning of the reading, because a lot of times we get stuck with karmic, and we don't really want to focus just on the other person. We want to focus on ourselves, really. I mean, that's why you're here. And so let's take a peek at what is influencing you, like, and not just influencing you, but what are the habits and behaviorisms that could actually play out within your life that would block you, and what you could do to balance out the energy. All right. Let's see. I hope everyone's having a good Saturday. Doesn't feel like Saturday. I don't know why. So guys, I just wanted to share with you, I am going to move my school onto the platform school. And that's because my shadow healing coaching program offers, deliverance healing, life coaching, shadow healing, reparenting, and it's all done with oracle cards. But we do exercises. I give PDFs out, and there's no way on the YouTube platform for me to share and to really be able to teach effectively the way that I want to be able to teach. And what am I teaching? I'm teaching how to break ancestral karmic curses, how to really, determine when you have a blockage, and how to heal yourself. Because really, we've come to a place within our evolution that we have to have spiritual hygiene. Otherwise, what happens is you date a person that traumatizes you. You don't date for a while, and then you feel like you recover, and then you go back out there only to witness and be part of the same exact scenario, or another as equally bad scenario, which then over time makes you feel as if you can't have, or that you can't create what you want to create. People have money issues, they have relationship issues. So, like I said, we want to know what what it is that we need to look at for. All right. And what we can do to balance out the energy. I'll be putting the link, by the way, for school in the bottom. And I'm going to be offering a lot of free stuff on that platform as well. All right. So what Spirit is saying is there is a solution for every problem. Go within to find it. Enjoy life. It's eternal. I'm going to read them as separate and then I read them all together. Healing your projections will help you avoid co-creating. What the hell? The internet. All right. When unsure how to proceed, simply take each step as it's revealed. Attachment wound, throat chakra wound, abuse wound, and then your willingness to learn new things will eliminate the agony of resisting. And Spirit saying exercise, study, partnership, writing, and signs. I know it's a lot. So, but Spirit's saying like during the winter, people tend to think, oh, nothing happens. You know, the month of January and February, it's such a it could be a dreary time. You know, all you got really is Valentine's Day. And if don't have a person or that person is acting like a jerk, it can be a real dreary time. It's usually cold. This part of the world anyway, you know, the Eastern part of the world. But it just seems to be like the energy is like when everything hibernates, everything sleeps, everything. And so you may feel like things aren't happening, but things are happening internally to you. Like you're changing. Now, Spirit's saying, like, you may say, I don't really like where I am at work. You know, like you're not really as fulfilled in work, or or you're trying to get a new job or trying to get a promotion. That energy is coming into fruition. There's something new, but it's going to require you to study. It's going to require you to become more grounded. You know, it has to do with maybe you're an influencer, maybe you're a blogger. There's writing involved, is what Spirit's saying. So, you know, but you have to be more grounded. Spirit says exercise, getting better connection to the physical body, the physical world. That's going to help you stay more focused when learning. And Spirit saying, like, because of this transition, and maybe the transition wasn't a planned transition. You were like, I just don't want to work here anymore. Or this opportunity came about for me. So, like I said, your willingness to learn new things, like, which is actually helping you. But it's going to bring you into a new career, like I said, but there's going to be studying involved. So Spirit's saying, you know, you're not going to know everything in advance. And it's also going to be a little bit challenging because, hey, whenever we have to learn something new and it's in a new environment, it really pushes us, you know, to become a better version of ourselves, right? I mean, it's because we have to become more present. And Spirit's saying, you know, it's not just about working and trying to get ahead and trying to focus on the money and Spirit says, enjoy life, you know, enjoy life, because what happens is then you have a job, but then you don't have a relationship. And understand, if you were in a job that you really didn't like, but you're transferring out of that job, you know, it's going to raise your energy. And Spirit's saying, but to work all the time, you become very imbalanced. And then you can't see out of your third eye new opportunities or a new relationship because you get so caught up in that. So part of this transition is also hoping that you get better lifestyle habits, is what Spirit's saying, like where you're setting yourself up more for success. And because Spirit says there's a problem, there's a solution for every problem. There's a problem for every solution. I was going to say there's a solution for every problem, but it's going to require you to like be be grounded, be present. Why is that? Because only in the now do you get divine guidance. So, Spirit saying exercising, it gets you a better connection to the physical world as well as to your physical body, which you need to be grounded is to be present, to be in the moment, to understand that this right now you're entering into like a whole new like career or there's a new unfoldment process here and spirit saying you're not alone, I'm actually with you is the best way that I can see it. And the reason why is because again spirit says you know a lot more than you think. I think that you're like your worst enemy and you're the worst enemy, possibly because of like the wounds that you have. We pulled abuse wound. And whenever we see abuse, well, then there's a sense of there's something wrong with us. And it's not because we tend to look at what has happened, and it's usually apparent, right? Again, these are the inner child wounds. So shows up as intense reactions to situations that echo past emotional, physical, and verbal abuse often creates deep mistrust and fear of being hurt again. So we have to really be grounded when we're entering into a new job, a new profession, just the same as when you date someone new. Problem with abuse wound is there's usually hypervigilance there because like I said, it's like you were conditioned in an environment not to trust, which is spirit saying that's why you have to study. That's why you're getting, it's almost like spirit says I can't ground you unless you actually were to go into a profession that required you to study, required you to really love what you do because of what has happened in the past. And so, whenever we grow up in abuse, again, we could be a genius. We could be the best at everything, but there's a part of us that doesn't feel like it. We feel like that there's something wrong. And that's the fragmentation. And so spirit saying, so attachment wounds, where spirit saying is you don't need anyone. People are going to want to come into your life and be your partner. And I saw that here, partnership, right? So understand spirit saying it's like people will show to try and show up into your life. And if you're not strong within yourself, then you're gonna, give people more reins. Spirit says this is your thing. This is what you don't really need to, because this shows up as difficulty forming secure relationships. Because codependency, at the end of the day, people get into them because they feel as if that person completes them a lot of time. Because it's intense, there's a real passion there. And spirit saying, but if you're not grounded and you don't feel good about yourself due to past abuse, the situations that happen, it's really hard to pull a person to you that would actually be that person. That's what you want. You see that person's potential, but that's usually not who they are. What winds up happening with attachment ones is you attach to a person that, like, again, usually has a fear of commitment, and you have a fear of abandonment. And so spirit saying it's like it winds up as being like where one person's distant and the other person winds up being clingy. And if your attachment wound was, you know you were abused, you didn't emotionally get what you needed, well, that's why codependency always felt right. But then spirit saying, but because you're imbalanced, you would not realize that you're going to pull a person to you that's imbalanced. And you might say, my imbalance isn't the same as that person's imbalance. And spirit says there's only two energies, love and fear. Either way, it's a second chakra imbalance when you have someone that's clingy and someone that's avoidant. When meanwhile, you would never be clingy, but because you can't trust this person, and it's the dynamic of how they create the relationship. And person is that way because they know, hey, you're going to give me more. I'm going to create that fear. And it's a way of control, which also then, it's like, then I can't talk. As soon as I try to express myself, the person shuts me down. And this is an inner child wound, but you would get that within a relationship too, where if you grew up in an environment where there was abuse, obviously you're not going to speak your truth. You're going to say whatever that parent wants you to say. You're going to do whatever that, because it's survival. It's like, and survival is psychological, it's emotional. When we see psychological warfare, this is where it starts. What do you think? I mean, this is what an ancestral family curse is. Generational family ancestral karmic curse is this: not being able to speak your truth, and then attracting people that also will like do that. So the same habits, and it's all due because of attachment wounds, where spirit's saying, obviously if there was abuse, you're not as grounded as you should be. And that's just because, hey, that those were realities. The environment created your reality because you created habits and behaviorisms to survive. And part of that was to not deal with it, to check out, to be, like not as present. So the problem with that is that people then tend to perceive you as not as caring, or don't care, or is not as grounding, when it's not like you do care, but would train not to show your emotions. If you grew up with an abusive parent, you are not going to like be as vulnerable. You're just not gonna do it. So due to you needing to heal certain wounds, spirit's saying, I'm bringing you onto a new direction. And there's always a space between what you reap to what you sow. Sow to what you reap. You always get that backwards. You plant corn, you're getting corn, and that's spirit saying, it's like it doesn't happen right away. It takes a while for that corn to, sprout up. I don't know if you ever planted corn. I planted corn one time and there were no kernels on it. What the fuck? It was like that's my corn. What are you trying to tell me, God? Planted corn, there's nothing on here. You know what I mean? It's like that the soil didn't have enough nutrients, right? So understand, when we don't feel that we have enough nutrients, and that's enough love, enough, I'd say, not just psychologically stimulating, but emotionally, right? That's the currency. And so you wind up attached to a person that says that they want to be your partner, they want to come in, they want to help you, but you haven't figured it out yourself. This is a new path. It takes time. There's an unfoldment process. So, when you have an abusive parent, the abusive parent doesn't allow you to find your unfoldment process. They're going to tell you, because they're always coming from a place of fear. They don't like their life. They're fearful, whatever. They're basing your life on what they perceived as they've lived and what they witnessed. But if their habits and behaviorisms were bad, and if they were abusive, you better believe that they were. That means that they were angry. People that are succeeding aren't angry. So Spirit's saying, so you haven't found yourself. So this isn't about partnership, because I feel like you're in separation from somebody, and whatever it is that you're creating for yourself, where I do believe that the person that's connected to you sees like you as talented, and almost like maybe they give you a little bit more credit of having your shit together more than you feel like you do, where it's again, but they remember they're fragmented. And it's whatever they're lacking too. And where Spirit's saying, it's like you don't want to wind up in a relationship like that. It doesn't mean you can't date the person, but being codependent is inviting a person into your life where they have too much, they're too comfortable right away. And then there's disrespect. And so Spirit's saying, like, the opportunity will be there, but this is your show. Remember that. And understand, when you set boundaries, people tend to not like it. And that, especially if you had abusive parent. Spirit saying, well, I'm going to bring you someone difficult. And you say, why the fuck would you bring me someone difficult? And because it gives me anxiety, it overstimulates me. Spirit says, well, they shouldn't be able to do that. That makes you feel like you can't trust you. So Spirit's saying those are things that you need to look out for because, hey, it's new opportunity. You don't need someone coming into your life that's going to like create it. But if you really have feelings for this person's going to try. Maybe it's about finding your balance. And so you might be like, no way, I don't want this person to come into my life. No fucking way at all, because that's coming from a place of fear, just so you know. And so we want to not come from a place of fear because you don't need to. Like before, there was a lack of purpose. You're moving into a finding your purpose. That's an unfoldment process. Spirit saying, focus on that. That'll keep your energy at a high vibration. But focusing on it means that you have to study and you have to be interactive. And it really is a co-creation process where when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You have to look out for the signs and the symbols. That's your intuition that lead you, which is again require grounding. People succeed through trusting that, having confidence, but also doing everything that they can to learn and to interact with the right people and the right things. And you can't have someone like that hanging off of you where it's like, oh, they get to associate themselves with you. And do you know who they are 100%? Spirit's saying it's like, it's a big deal because I feel like people, when you have abuse, people tend to come into your life and you're like, they betray me. I get people that betray me, that hurt me. And the spirit says that is because, of the abuse that you grew up with, and that you have to integrate the spiritual lesson. It doesn't just heal itself. Hey Debbie and Deb, I am going to read all your messages after. All right, so that's your energy, what you need to look at just for you. I am also being called to pull like one more to like also finish this part, which is just your energy reading, what to be aware of. And like I said, it could be in the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months, that I feel like if someone's come back into your life. That's just what I'm feeling. Look, unconditional love. Damn it. And Spirit says, well, you're down there to learn that you're not separate from me, which is unconditional love. And when you're, fragmented and you grew up in abuse and you don't know that you have a purpose and you don't feel connected to God, well, then, you know, you're going to base your life on your experiences, and that's not who you are. Again, you're here to become the energy of love, and that's no expectations, no ownership. So you could be connected to a person that you do have unconditional love for, but they have wounds, and that's how those wounds would affect you at this current moment, and or within the next year per se. So I always think that when we get readings, the timing is never, it's never. It's like I get readings. When I get readings, when my friend tells me, because I have a friend that's a psychic, she'll tell me something. It doesn't happen until like a year later, a year and a half later, or sometimes 10 years later, or 5 years later. It always happens. But, spirit has no time. But if you're connected to a past life karmic mate, this is someone that you've been dealing with for a long time. So spirit's saying, well, they always make their way back. And this time you need to be prepared because you have something at stake. So Spirit says, know that your heart is free from resentment towards others. Really hard when you're dealing with the abuse and that person. Open your eyes and your heart and discover the light and beauty in every being. Be aware that suffering can cause distress and hurt in people. And that's why the abuse, and that's why they don't treat you the way that they should. Learn to see the pure child in everyone and practice forgiveness. So understand a block of not forgiving, well, that also throws a monkey wrench in what you're trying to do. Remember, you want to be focused, you want to be grounded, you're moving into a whole new energy. And if you're angry with this person, because this person might just be like not really moving, right? And then you just feel their energy and it's irritating because it's like, why don't you just move on, since you don't want to really be different. and understand a lot of times they can't. And that's why we look and we see where are they coming from, what's going on. But understand if this is, you're moving out of this low vibrational energy. And I say that because when you don't know who you are and you're not happy with your job and you're not really secure, it's like you don't, and you came from a place where you were conditioned to be fearful. Abuse does that. Spirit saying it's like, so you're transcending. I'm sending you loving energy. Can you feel it? So this person still like has, I feel like, still has this unconditional love for you. However, is there ego in the way? Absolutely. Because it's like, I don't want to reach out to you. If I want you to reach out to me. And that to me, again, is ego. Now they could say, look, I'm afraid, I don't know, but nevertheless, you make me nervous. Didn't I say? They all, it's going to blame you because you hold to a standard. Like, listen, it's like, I feel like this is something that you really want. This is something that you're focused on. And this person sees it. And they also see like you're moving into other energy. And so it's almost like they're wondering where they would be. But there's like your boundaries have to be up. This person's not used to being with people that have boundaries, or they're just a bully and they tend to wear those boundaries down. And that's what Spirit's saying. It's like, you can have boundaries with people, but if they're committed to, not, then you really have to like not give this person a lot in the beginning. And they're going to get hurt by it. I'm working up the courage to contact you because they see that you're not. And that's why I'm saying this person's coming back, and that's why I'm saying it's like, because the more that you cut your energy off, this person can feel it. ESP through the heart is what is, for ESP, obviously. And so, when you take your energy and you put it towards something else, and this person does not know what's going on in your life, they don't know who you're talking to, they don't know, again, like, want to know what's going on in your garden. So, like, this is the secret, by the way, when you really like a person, to like, when they don't know, you don't make it easy for them. And it takes confidence. That's why a person always comes back when it's like completely over, because you're like, I don't want this now. What's wrong with you? Like, I walked into a whole other life, and understand this person, like I said, is afraid of that. And we've been getting similar readings like this. But again, days, weeks, what you need to again look at the energy. It doesn't just change sometimes when the readings are so similar. I wish I could fix things between us. So they're again trying to figure out how they can. And that's why they haven't come back yet. That's why they're working up the courage, because they're like, what am I going to say? Please, childhood wounding is influencing my actions, which is I'm overthinking. I'm getting in my own way. I'm procrastinating. So all these energies are like make you feel like this person doesn't care. Again, where I feel like in the beginning that is the way that they acted, but it usually works for them, right? If I give you a little, but you can sense that I have feelings for you, and I show you that I have feelings, but I'm not going to verbalize it, then what happens is over time, I'm going to give you less and less and less and less and less and less, because this person doesn't create the emotional intimacy. It doesn't mean that they can't take you out to dinner and you have the greatest night or a real passionate night. It's like there's feelings there, but like I said, this person, I don't feel like they're strong. But let's look. Please be patient with me. Or automatically this person like just pisses me off already. And the reason why is probably because I need healing in that area. But, but because it's like you're coming in handicapped. Like, you want me to be patient with you, but were you patient with me? Like it's almost like hold to a standard. And Spirit says, remember, you need to be practicing forgiveness. You're like, I don't want to forgive. Like, and Spirit says, well, aha. Like, so Spirit saying it's not all or nothing a lot of times. You are the love of my life. I like, and I feel like the reason why is because you don't make things easy. That this person, like, they're stewing in it. They're stewing. But it's like, I have to come back. I have to, like, apologize. I don't really know what I'm going to say. I'm a little intimidated by you. You make me nervous because, you might rip my head off, or you might be nice, or you might not care, or you might be dating somebody else, or you might be. And so, again, they're in their own way, imagining what is going to happen and not really. I can see myself with you in the future. Like, didn't I tell you? I said I knew it because of the reading. It's like I said, oh, things are happening for you. So, of course, this person is going to come nosing around, and wants to see what's happening in your world. And I want a new beginning with you. I wanted to pull from a different deck and get a different card, but it's like, no, they're coming back. And that's really what it is. So let's see what they did like that when they had the opportunity. Not that it's important, Spirit saying what's really more important is to maybe look at you just had enough of their disrespect. And so, but this person just, I feel like they would get triggered and they would get mad. They didn't have a bad temper where they would scream and yell, but they would get angry and then they would take it out on you. And they would take it out on you by like stonewalling you or gaslighting you or just not really caring, disrespecting you. So again, being with someone that disrespects you, that's not giving you time, not making you feel special, like all of it. It's like, and this person knows that. You just had enough of like their abusive treatment, and their abusive treatment was that it was that you want to stay connected to me, but you don't want to give me anything. You don't want to take me anywhere. Maybe you don't really want to build a relationship with me, and you still want to talk to other people. And I feel like this person did not have a problem talking to other people and right in front of you, knowing, because it's like, I want you to chase me. I want to devalue you. And it was abusive behavior. It's exactly what you grew up in. And like, that's what it looks like, where your feelings don't matter. If you're going to talk about it, I'm going to suppress you. Well, over time, you're not going to say anything because you're like, this person doesn't change. And that's what they hope. And then they walk around on their high horse, like, who the fuck do they think they are? You know? God didn't say that. I said that. But it's like, that's what I feel like. Like, who the hell do you think you are? Like, that I hear that song, You're So Vain, in my head, like, you think everything's about you. And that's the thing, because you're putting energy and time towards something else. Well, that's what it is. It's like, come on, stop it. I wish you could see that we're being mirrors right now, like, because this person is pissed off that they have to come back. You don't really want to be with this person. And this person hates the fact that they have like a strong connection to you, because it's like you have some weird power over them. The fact that they have to come back to you. It's like where you're like, I'm not mirroring you. I don't like you anymore. Like there's there's a difference. Oh, I feel abandoned, and I often feel like others left me down. So again, there's this victimization. Well, I act that way because all my other relationships and no one showed up for me, and stop. But this person does think the world of you inside and out. The next solstice of equinox is going to bring important shift. That's what this person thinks for us. This is what they think. So when's the next fall equinox? Is it when spring equinox? So I feel like this person's going to come back like either over the winter or the beginning of spring. because they're planning. But that's how long it takes this person. It's like because they've been sitting in an energy waiting for you to come back. What they see is you're not. And guess what? I just got because this person didn't give anything, they know, oh, I best better not be coming back with nothing because you will laugh at this person. You will be like, I am not going to give you anything. I'm not going to do anything for you. I'm not going to give you anything. I'm not going to, don't expect it. I long ago shut down those parts of myself that wanted love and romance and intimacy. But you make me long for those things again. And that's because they can't have you. And it's because your focus is on like a new life. And so they're like trying to like almost like catch up to you now because they're like, I can't come back the way that I treated you and offer nothing. I'm going to have to really put the time and effort in it because, and that's why this person's a little pissed off because, hey, at one time they didn't have to do that. You were willing to just give them your time, your energy, but they don't have that place in your life anymore. And you made that so. You made it clear. You got this person's attention now. Like, you know what I mean? You smacked this person that, like smack the shit out of this person. Like, what the hell who do you think that I am? Who do you think that I am? Well, this person knows. I feel like you straighten that back up right away, they're like, you think I'm not listening to you because they act like they don't listen and they act like they don't care. Almost like a little autistic, where it's like, I feel like that you deal with the person that when you talk to them, they won't look at you, make eye contact. But everything that you say, they replay over and over and over in their head and understand that's just an act of, oh, you see, I'm so tough. I don't have to let you in when really it's like, it's stupid. And this is what this person's seeing. I'm trying to understand how my thoughts create my reality. I know I need to stay positive. Are you? Like, because this person is like now trying to tap into the law of attraction. like, and they're like, what they're seeing is like they have a lot of anxiety. You're making them have a tremendous amount of anxiety. And that's because you had a past life connection and they've lost you in other lifetimes. And that's why that they become afraid and that they need to heal the grief to allow the love to bloom. So understand it's like you've been down this road before where you have no problem in the past life to say, hit the road. And in this life, say the same exact thing. So they know exactly who you are. I think that they forgot. They feel like they had this connection. They always had the spiritual connection, but I don't think that they paid much mind to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they were like, yeah, we connection, but if anything, they took it for granted, thinking like it was always going to be there. And now they're like seeing you through this different light and everything. And they're like, oh my God, I'm going to lose this person. I want to send you a message today, but I was afraid to. I don't know if you want to hear from me. So this person that has picked up the phone and put down the phone and picked up the phone and put down the phone and picked up the phone and put down the phone like 100 times. But I feel like this person is like even tried to like like not talk, well, maybe talk to themselves, like, but in a way to be like, I'm going to say this. When you were a kid and you were like, you had to tell your mother a lie or your father a lie and you talked to your friend and you were like, well, say that we did this. It's almost like that this person is like, it's trying to do that so that when they come back, they have a story. But I feel like all their story is they sound like an asshole. And they can see that I look like an asshole. There's nothing that I could possibly really even say. So I can't come back like a broke person, and not do anything. I'm going to have to like really try. So again, you're making this person mad. They're going through a physical and emotional ascension symptoms and they need like rest anyway. And I feel like because this is fucking them up. That's why, because it's like, if anything, this person thought that they had the upper hand. Remember, they thought that they were going to put you on the shelf, that you were always going to be there. and you had enough of their abuse and you were like, I'm not tolerating it. You put your energy into yourself, you cut your energy from them. This person thought it was going to be temporary, thought eventually you'd come back, waited for you to reach out to them, like, oh, you're just pissed off. When you settle down, you can like reach out to me. That's another fuck you from me, because that's fucked up. And this person knows that now because they're like, wow, that's toxic. Yeah, that's real toxic. And they're like, their inner child was wounded when their parents couldn't respond to me in the way that they needed them to. And they react from that wound. And you know it. It's like, I'm not going to show you vulnerability. So I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to show you how much you mean to me. I'm not going to show you. And you were like, fuck you. I don't need to be in a relationship that you're trying to demote me or like make me step out of my power. I'm going to show you exactly who I am. And that's what you're showing this person. And that's why they're like, well, you slapped the shit out of them. It's like with your actions, you woke this person right up. It's like, and that's what they needed because, they thought that they were going to take advantage. They thought that it was okay to treat you a certain way. So that's why they're like, I don't even know how to fix this. And really, them coming back, they're going to apologize to you, but you have the upper hand because you can say no. This person would never, in a million years, did they think that they were ever going to have to come back to you. Never in a million years. So, put your head up high, put your shoulders back, and know who you are. Because again, this person is not on a high vibration. It doesn't mean that they're not doing work. They're ascending because they were at such a low vibration. But it took them that because what they're seeing is this game is not going to go down the way that you think that it's going to go down at all. And now I'm just curious, what was this person doing in the meantime? I mean, I feel like they talk to other people. We know that. But I mean, what are the habits and behaviorisms that we need to look at for this person? Again, they still have a fear of rejection. And again, either this person will conform to your energy or they will expect you to conform to their energy. So there's a lot of the codependency energy. And that's because identity, this person doesn't have a strong identity in who they are, where you do. So I feel like this person will try to mold to you. Remember, that's why partnership, they're going to come back and they're going to offer that. But I feel like I don't think that would be wise. Again, it takes time. Trust takes time. This person didn't earn that. So when a person comes in so fast and they didn't want to give you the time before, and then they're expecting you to just kind of do that, it's like, no, disempowerment. So I feel like this person gets involved with people where they either are the one that, again, it gets disempowered, or they try to disempower other people by that. It's an energy issue, and it's an energy issue because this person hasn't done the healing, and you're making them do some of the healing. But Spirit says this isn't about not being with the person. You could be with the person, but don't lose your individuality. It's, again, don't let them come back so fast, and definitely don't run into a business with them, because this is your thing that you're focusing on. That there's an unfoldment process, because this person will want to control. So whatever they've been doing, nothing. They're like stressed out, and they tend to get impulsive. So they have impulsive energy. So they might go out for night and drink, or like have a one night stand, or again, just that's living like through their addictions. Because when a person doesn't have a passion, well, what is it? Then they're vibrating at a lower vibration. And so it doesn't mean that they don't have a job, but they're not, their passion is that to either drink a little too much, to go shopping a little too much, to eat a little too much, to like, they're impulsive. It doesn't, it doesn't really matter what the addiction is, but that's what they've been doing. It's like, it does not really doing anything, just living from how they feel, when they want to, what they want to do, when they want to do it. And it's really to like suppress like that, fear. There's only two energies, love and fear. And when we're not filled up with the Holy Spirit and we're not connected to, our passion, which is what connects us to God, which having that connection with the Holy Spirit allows us to actually create our heaven on earth. And so when a person doesn't have that, like I said, they're vibrating at a lower vibration. And so addictions become their thing. And so, person then worries a lot because, hey, then they're giving a lot of power away to the environment. And like I said, either this person is a chameleon where they'll mold to your environment, or they are toxic and they try to control the environment and put people in a subservient disempowerment space, all depending. And it's because this person has a lot of anger. I feel like they also grew up in a karmic contracts, and that's what they're used to because they never healed the inner child wounds, which again created the trauma. So they have trauma that they haven't healed. So this person's impulsive and they live by their addictions. It's like that's what it is. It doesn't mean that they're like a rip raving alcoholic, but they're impulsive. It depends on the day, what they're going to do, whether they're going to smoke, whether they're going to drink, whether they're going to talk to a person, but none of it stays forever. It's almost like here for a good time, not a long time, and not creating anything. It's kind of like the Peter Pan syndrome. Remember what you used to do in high school? Well, kind of like that. Like, so because this person thought, well, you're going to come back to me. And what they see is you're not coming back. And they did all that. And they wasted a lot of time. So you're like, and now you want to come back in and you want to be around my business. You want to be like, interrupt what I'm doing. And the spirit says, you got to think about that. Like I said, don't make it easy. And spirit says that would have to be anyway. And you don't know whether this person is going to make it easy. Let's see, will they make it easy? Because I kind of feel like they would be a little annoying, clingy. I could be wrong, but I don't know. The spirit says tension. So like I feel like you'd feel like the tension of it, like almost like pulled in a direction that you're not wanting to be in, because they would create that, and they would be doing it because they really want to be helpful. They really want to be a part of what you're doing. They really want because they whatever your energy is. So like I said, this person doesn't see you as a bad person. If anything, they see you as like like almost like the high priestess energy, right? I don't know if you know tarot, but the high priestess is like, is not really a person. That's like a perfect person, and there's no such thing as perfect. And that's because like, hey, you just disconnected from this person. You're a true person. You're authentic. And the problem is that if a person's a little bit of a narcissist, it's like they will not let you have your authenticity, like alone, unconditional love. So again, what you see is this person like really does believe that they have like unconditional love. They'd actually like try and be like your best friend, like again, because you're not going to make it easy for this person. So they're like, okay, friendship, I'll be a friend, I mean, and you'd be like, feel the tension of it because emotionally, like you still have a little bit of a connection. You'd be like, okay, like you could be my dog, what I mean? Okay, I'll go out to dinner with you today, but even though like I don't really want to, and then because this person will will take you out and you'll be on guard, and slowly but slowly, you loosen up. And this person's going to be surprised how long it's going to take you to loosen up, because now you're like I don't want to like fuck my life up, understand that, because whatever it is with you, you already showed me who you are. Now you're coming back like all this, but that's because, like I said, you've changed, where you're like, I've never changed. It's like what they see is the difference. And so, like you said, I'm not going to lie. This person sees you as abundant, and in the spring, they're coming back. And I'm feeling like the roots, I feel like you have to just be careful. You have to be careful because people that have a lot of energy that they haven't healed and they're controlling, that's very like how you grew up, if you notice that. And so it put you back into that energy. And that's how they rob your authenticity. That's how they do a destiny swap. I'm just saying. It's like it's not like they don't believe that they don't have unconditional love, but you have to be strong to be with a person like this because you have to set boundaries. Because this person, like again, sees you as abundant and they need materials. They I feel like wherever they are. And so the spirit saying this is a relationship and not just the job, which we talked about in the beginning, like spirit saying, I need to ground you more, but spirit says this relationship, you're going to need to be real grounded because, understand this person has different energy than you. So do you want to be with that while, you're trying to create? Well, you might be able to handle it. You might be able to be like, I can set boundaries. I'm strong. I'm going to set, but you have to set those boundaries. When those boundaries would be like, no, I'm not going to be home. I'm actually going to a meeting. I'll talk to you, but this person will also need reassurance. Remember, they want you to be patient with them now. They didn't give you patience, but you have to see this is the fragmentation, why they acted the way that they did. So, it's up to you. But these relationships like require you to step into the best version of yourself. So understand if that means that you're setting boundaries and everything's good, you can slowly let this person in. But it also means if they don't listen to your boundaries, you gotta buy, like really set boundaries and not emotionally get caught up in this person. This person, like I said, they're coming back. They're gonna ask for the olive branch. They're gonna say that they're changed. I've changed. I've changed. That's what they're gonna say to you, and they're gonna tell you that they really feel like you're their person, and they're gonna be really sweet about it, really nice. So if you have a soft spot for this person, spirit's saying you better be grounded, you better set boundaries because it's not an all or nothing thing. A lot of times it's about finding your balance with it. And spirit says, let's look at some of your inner child wounds. I know it's freezing. This is bullshit. My ears almost burnt off outside. And my internet was going on and off, on and off. I was so like, no. Because the wind, we don't get wind like that down here, unless, of course, it's a hurricane. But like, it's like a winter day up north. That's what it feels like up down here, which is so weird. All right, so let's see. Spirit saying, well, inner child wounds. We already know, but I always like to confirm because it showed up at the beginning of your reading that, yes, it was trauma to the point of disassociation, which makes it really difficult to stay present, to be grounded. That's what, detachment is. And so Spirit says that's why the grounding is really important. There was neglect and also suppression. So not being allowed to have your authenticity and be, and when I say be your authenticity, your purpose, like your identity, your essence of who you are. And so Spirit says that like if you were always treated that way, you wouldn't love yourself either. You would have to learn how to love yourself because the environment wasn't treating you right. So understand you probably still had habits and behaviorisms where this person thought, oh, I have you all figured out, and that's because you gave this person too much time and they didn't earn it. And they had so many other people. that they were like, oh, well, better options. Now they're not seeing that now. Trust me. Now they went the complete opposite because this person doesn't have any balance. So now they put you on a pedestal. Now you're the high priestess, which isn't a real person, by the way. It's like no one's that. It's a consciousness, but it's almost like it's too pure. It's too like perfect. It's like, and it's not, you want the Queen of Cups, you want to be, where spirit saying like the naive also happens like when you grow up in an environment where, there was abuse a lot of times because when you're detached, it's because you're not, you can't deal with it. It's like you're like so shocked that like your family would treat you that way that, the brain forgets a lot, and it forgets a lot because they're lies about yourself and the secrets that go on in a home where there is abuse. Like that, it's like you're not allowed to talk about it. Like if you're going to talk about it, there's punishment. So we saw in the beginning, remember that throat chakra issue of not talking about it due to suppression. This person don't like it. Again, it looks too has too much of that other energy where spirit says, well, it's not that you can't be with the person. It means that you have to step into the best version of yourself, which means you can't lax with this person. It's like you'd have to give direction. You'd have to. So I don't know whether or not that you'd want to do that, but they'd obviously be bringing something to the table because it's like, but we know that they're definitely not bringing any emotionally intelligence there. They're not. They're the type of person that would do something like, I'll fix your car, your house, like I'll buy you something, I'll do something for you. But like that's the type of person that this person is. I feel like over time you would know. And so they're very left brained and very logical, which kind of comes across as cold when really it's like that's not. They're like fearful spirit saying. So you need to just continue to be on your path, whether you choose to be with this person or not. When they come back, you should be in your full energy into this new career. It might have just started, but nevertheless, it started, but you've maybe not, maybe just only for a few months, right? Maybe 2, 3 months, or where spirit's saying now it's again, know that you're on the right path, that even if it's not the one that's most traveled, because you're creating your own. And that this is all about learning how to love yourself. And you love yourself by becoming yourself, cultivating deep self-love with acceptance and compassion. Honor your true essence. And remember what I said, like your individuality growing up in that environment where you weren't allowed to have one. And then this person, and where spirit's saying, no, this is like about you learning how to love yourself because you were not taught how to self-love yourself because the environment wasn't nice to you. It's about alchemizing that energy and realizing that you're turning that pain into power, and that the whole time you've always had guardian angels around you, protecting you, loving you, supporting you, that you were never alone in spite. So you might be like, why do I have to go through that? And spirit says, because earth is not heaven. The earth, we get the traits to become good enough for heaven, where perseverance, courage, like all the energies that are derived from unconditional love, which is hard to do. And the spirit says, but that's the whole reason why you're down there. So it's all about releasing control. Like you're not in charge of how you get there, or anything. You're only in charge of where you put your energy. So spirit's saying, be grounded, be present, make sure that your energy is where you want to put it, because it's all about self-love. Otherwise, what'll happen is you won't love like yourself, because you'll mold to what the environment wants you to be. And if a person is codependent, well, they're going to want you to do what they want you to do because that's what this person shows. And I feel like they're the type of person that would come in really sweet and nice. And then over time get too comfortable. Like they don't have balance because you can't give them their essence. They have to find that themselves. You're finding it, you're creating it. That's why this person feels. Again, moving on, the spirit says, know how strong that you are. Go ahead, like with the things that you're doing, and know how strong, because you're transforming. This is a way that you integrate that fragmentation, which again we saw because of the abuse and the disassociation. So spirit says that integration needed to be done. Once you're integrated, you are no longer codependent. So that's again very tantalizing to this person because they're looking at you as so strong, and this person, like again, high priestess, and that's not even a person. Like that's, like I said, you don't want to be the high priestess. Like, I mean, the high priestess, don't get me wrong, is very psychic and very intuitive and very magical, but I mean, that's not a real person. It's like they're going to think that you're so much like that that they don't measure up. That, remember, will go from one extreme to another. And that's very narcissistic energy. I'm just saying. So I'm going to leave off with one more message. I mean, it's to be as wise as a serpent, but as gentle as a dove, meaning I know who you are, but I'm going to be nice about it. And I'm going to, because I feel like if you're mean to this person, they might, you know, uh, be more petty, like how they were before. It's understand it's like this person's really like taking a chance. Attention. Spirit says attention is the word, and spirit says be attentive to all that manifests within yourself. When negativity arises within you, transform it into light and hope. Your love for others is unconditional. Forgive. Your desire to improve is constant, and you are firm, brave, and hardworking. So, Spirit says, understand, like this person does. Also, I'm not going to lie, very twin flaming energy, but not where this person is at that level yet. They're striving to be on that level. I'm not going to lie, because there is unconditional love there. And they've lost you in many lifetimes. Eventually, one of these lifetimes, they're going to get it right. God only knows how many lifetimes it took, because this person's slow. They're slow. Their ego is still big. So, Spirit's saying they would trigger negativity inside of you, but there would also be passion. There would also be other things aside from that. But Spirit's saying your attention needs to be on what you're doing. But yes, when someone triggers you, you have to say, why are they triggering? And it could be, this person doesn't give me attention. Let me tell you, if you continue to do what you're doing, this person is going to give you nonstop attention. And then you're going to be a little bit like, back off. Now you're going too far the other way. Like, let's pace it. Where like this person's going to be like, I'm going to show you now, and you're going to be like, I don't really want that now. It's like, I want it paced, where it's like, that's the thing. This person is going to try and fix it. And that might, where Spirit's saying, just understand, if they're able to trigger you, it's that there's wounding there. And why would you bring a person like that, you may ask, God, into my life at this particular time while I'm trying to manifest? And Spirit says, because they will hold you to a standard, because you already know who they are. It's like they're going to make you more present. You're going to focus more on creating. And I feel like this person is business savvy. I just don't feel like they have a passion in their life. Money can't be a passion. They might be good at making it, but that's not why we get up in the morning. I mean, some people do. They get up in the morning, have the money. But then what you always see is those people that are make a ton of money, they always have shit relationships because they're not balanced. And so that's the thing. This person is money can't be the passion. We use money to create. Money is a currency. And when money gets distorted, which understand if this person shut down those parts of themselves a long time ago, which it's said they were more in that energy where again I had my money and I had and I was at a lower vibration, very impulsive. If I wanted to drink, if I wanted to fuck, if I wanted to smoke, whatever I wanted to do, I did at that time. Who knows, and I didn't even remember half of it because it was like a kid in a candy store, just so much until like you came along and then they didn't care. They weren't going to come back for you. They didn't think that they were going to really care. They thought, if anything, you were going to come back to them. And now, like, this whole thing is like really changed them. Like I said, Spirit says, just know whether you choose to be with this person or not, it's all about being faithful to yourself. Regardless, commit to your mind, your heart, and your will that you're devoted to the needs of your own soul. Trust in yourself, in God, and the universe. That's where you are. It's like this person has to prove themselves. And it looks like they're going to. But my fear is as soon as you lay that guard down, old habits die hard. But Spirit says, cross that bridge when you get to it. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Let's see, did anyone have any questions? Okay, it's hard to accept that I carried forward wounds that kept me in dysfunctional relationships. Oh, well, everybody does that. Everybody, like, that's the whole thing. It's like we live many lifetimes for that reason because we don't learn the lesson right away. If no one teaches you, there's no spiritual knowledge down here. They're like, you want spiritual knowledge, you go to church. It's like that. I can't apply that to like my life, but you actually can if you understand the stories. If you can get past the the thy, the though, and all the other, Sanskrit, then different, cultures and the different dialects of from every single religion, if you could get past all that. But a lot of people can't. And so transpersonal psychology teaches you, again, how to transcend the limitations of your mind, how to actually shape shift your energy. You're the alchemist of your life. Understand, by you might not have even meant to like do this. I feel like when you saw that this person was not going to change, you were like, I had enough of your abuse and I just like disconnected. This person, again, they were toxic because they were like, oh, you're having a little pity party, okay, and when you calm down, then you'll come back. Again, that's very toxic. And so, at the end of the day, we all do, because we all have that one person. We have that karmic person. We have a twin flame connection, and we have, all soul relationships are difficult, but the past life karmic mate and the twin flame relationship, twin flame is no picnic. Let me tell you, they're going to awaken every single one of your wounds, and they're going to hold you to a certain standard, and whatever, toxic trait that you have, a lot of times they mirror it. And so understand, it's not easy. It's hard. Is there passion there? Yeah, there's passion, because that's what actually is the fire that transmutes those spiritual blockages. The fact that this person is also holding space for you because they have unconditional love for you, and that's the same, like where Spirit says that you require forgiveness. That's one of your lessons. And that you might be like, I don't want to forgive. And Spirit says, yes, but then you'll keep attracting people like that. And that's why you want to learn how to forgive. So you get what you need. And so understand that you can be in the twin flame connection with this person. You're, like I said, you're going to learn how to be like, fuck it, I don't even care. I forgive you. I don't care. But I've learned to not rely on you. And you might say, well, who wants to be with that? Well, Spirit says that twin flame relationships are very rarely are people with that person forever. But there's such a passion and such a chemistry that, it's almost like irresistible that you wind up like with that person. But the way that they think is so different from you, and you need a little bit of their energy, they need a little bit of your energy. That's why they feel like, oh, that's my other half. There's no such thing as a half a person. That's codependency. And so Spirit says, so remember, you're walking into a new life to make you not that, to not have that attachment, right? Again, where one person's the runner, one person's the chaser, you don't need it. So it's something that you need to think about. And really, again, it's not that you can't, but that's why you're getting this person at this point in time. It's not that it's all bad. My job is to tell you what could be bad. Like I said, this person does have love. They do want to try, but it's they're not going to be as mature as they should be as soon as you get back. Does that mean that they'll stay that way? No, you're not going to let them stay that way, Spirit says, because you're going to hold them to a standard. Say, no, this is what it looks like. Otherwise, I don't give you time. Otherwise, I don't let you in my life because you don't have a place at the dinner table yet. You don't get to just come back. You have to work for it, Spirit says, because this person is not 100% there. You think that all of a sudden they become there? Before, their ego was so big they didn't even think they needed to do that. So Spirit says, but you're the one helping me to make them that way. It's again that people do that. We meet people and situations and experiences that help us transcend. And Spirit says this person wouldn't change if there really was love. Because believe me, they would never come back to you. Never. The fact that they have to is killing them. Trust me. Because they're nervous. I don't know what you might tell me to screw off, and Spirit says they need that. It's like all of it is needed. And for you too, because you need to become strong within yourself, regardless of the environment. It's like, and learn forgiveness, because understand a lot of times when we don't have forgiveness, we see ourselves as still flawed from what has happened in the past, where Spirit says, that's not you. You also gain gifts from living in that type of environment, and strength, perseverance, very intuitive gifts. Just focus on those things. Focus on the good. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Be true to you. Thanks for sharing your energy with me. And yeah, it's always a double standard, but the thing is, it's what you allow, right? So that's what a person can try and do that, but it's all about what you're going to allow, and you're not going to allow it. And understand when a person actually has to come back and apologize, well, you know that they want to try. So the whole point is that you can't be so relaxed and nice, and like maybe your nature is just to be like, oh, like I treat people the way that everyone's my family, and I give them everything. I treat them the way I want to be treated. And Spirit says, no, 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 not with that person. It's like you have to again be like a little bit like, a little bit like who you are. It's like, and understand that doesn't feel right to you because you're a humble person. But understand when a person is humble and then you're attracting people that want a humble person, that's toxic, because then over time the person is showing you that they don't like you. It's again where they put you in a position like that. So Spirit says it's part of you being too nice, too giving, too available, too whatever. This is about you creating yourself and being a little bit like, I don't know, like you're not really worthy of my dinner table yet. You're not. It's like dinner, like, I mean, you're going to get eat the salad and you're going to have like whatever else that you're going to have. And I'd like be around my home and you didn't earn that. It's like you're gonna have to take me to dinner like a few times. You're gonna have to, maybe take me to a movie, maybe court me. How about that? Because they thought that they were gonna skip over that part. You see, it's like that's the thing, and that's why this person's saying I can't come back empty-handed. And so Spirit says you're gonna get what you want. Trust me. But it's again, you have to be a little bit the way that you are right now, which is This energy I really don't like to be in, because it's like I have to be a bitch. I have to be like, and who wants that? You're too available. You have to create the mystery and see, like, you created the mystery, but you're like, yeah, but I don't talk to this person. Spirit says, yeah, but they haven't worked hard enough for you to talk to them. And that's why you haven't talked to them. So don't all of a sudden roll out the red carpet, is all that spirit saying. It's like you could give them a little cracker, a little breadcrumb, like that's it. It's not because I'm being whatever, but because my life is busy. And I don't really know whether or not I want to give you that time. When I was available to you, you didn't want it. And so you have to make that person think about that, that to not take advantage, because the next time it'll be worse. You won't let this person back into your life, if you even let them back into your life this time. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Be true to yourself, love yourself, because that's how you teach people how to love you. Don't forget to check out my school. Eventually, I'm going to merge all my YouTube channels together on school. And the subscription is more because you're going to get so much more. And I'm going to be on every day, opposed to having to be on the Virgo channel, having to be on the Scorpio channel, can't share documents, can't really educate except for do this oracle reading. I mean, which is helpful, but it's that, like, again, it's not really enough. And healing requires you to understand not just the shadow healing, but life's path, like to create a new life. You are, then there's a real story of who you truly are. If you don't, then you continually relive the same experiences. So, like I said, you wouldn't have a relationship with God either. You wouldn't trust yourself. And so, it's an all-inclusive coaching program. It's inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, all done with oracle cards. And then there's like over hundreds of exercises in cognitive of healing modalities, because detachment and dissociation requires a reconditioning of the body and mind. So we do different breath work, we do different healing exercises where we can't really get the benefit here on YouTube the way that I would like, and to be interactive, where on school I use Zoom, so you get to see me, I get to see you, and it's more interactive, like I said. So I'm going to start putting the link there. And until next time, and I'm going to be offering a lot of free stuff through there as well. So hopefully you'll become part of my school community. All right. I hope to see you guys there. I'm going to, I'll be on again possibly tomorrow. And of course, for my coaching clients here, I'm not going to forget about them here on YouTube, if that's where you want to stay. It's just, like I said, it's limited. All right. Until next time, be true to you. Love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.